The donation incentive was it?
Yeah.
Are you ready to go right now?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
What? Oh, yeah, I get you.
You guys are live.
Well, I've. Alright, cool.
Cool. So we'll get started in 3, 2, 1, go. So, welcome. This is Gris. This is a art as a game as we journey through the emotions of grief as our mother has passed away. Well, in whatever you it's very, or any very traumatic event. Very good game. So this game was developed by Nomada Studios and published by Devolver Digital. So, big question. What category were we running?
Hello. Cool.
Hello.
My understanding is that we're going to run any % no major glitches.
Ooh, interesting. So I'm going to make it even more interesting and make it almost no major glitches.
Okay. What does that mean?
Cool. So there is a major glitch something that was cool. So there was a new glitch that was found about 6 months ago by Chris, and between myself, Chris, and Skylar, we'd been messing around and doing some weird things with it. And recently, a couple months ago, it was determined to be a major glitch alongside Out of Bounds. So, because I really want to show off the glitch, I'm going to show off the glitch in this run. Yeah, and we'll end up explaining it as it happens.
Sounds good.
The soundtrack for this game is also like really, really good. So that alone, I think, is making it worth playing the game, right?
Absolutely. Violinist is an absolutely incredible composer. Well, so now we've watched the intro, we've fallen, and we can't get up. It is now sad girl hours. We're going to do a bit of walking. Not very much we can do here. Can't really lose any time unless you decide to wanting to jump. Jumping is now banned, at least for now. You will notice that everything in this game is watercolor. And Conray Mosaic, I think the name of it, yeah. So is the main artist behind all this. Absolutely incredible artist. Does really good stuff. And now you can jump. So something I've called this game, just because it's a really fun and a good joke, is Kangaroo Simulator. You'll know because we're going to be jumping a hell of a lot throughout this. That is because jumping on flat surfaces is 3% faster than just walking naturally. But as we go up slopes like this, it's significantly faster just to do single jumps. Walking, unfortunately, as walking is very slow. So we're going to do other things like jump into cutscenes, just so you can prevent as much walking as possible. And this game is going to be split up into 5 different sections, corresponding to each emotion of grief. So this one's going to be denial, after that anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. coming up, we have our very first cutscene. Where we have these little stars. These stars are absolutely required for us to continue through. They build bridges for us. And without them, we can't really go further. Mika, you recently played this game. What was your experience with it?
I really, really enjoyed this game, yeah. Like, Aggy loves this game enough that they gifted it to me for Christmas 3 years ago, and I was like, I'm helping Aggy commentate. And I've seen Aggy do many runs, but I'm like, maybe I should actually play it so then I can really fully appreciate it. And have to say, it's definitely something I recommend everyone check out. Like, it's short, but it really does hit home, and I think no matter what you've been through in life, I think it really can speak to everyone. You could have gone through a small thing or a big thing, and I think that's the really powerful thing about this game, is that it really connects with everyone.
Cool. So now we're up to the first boss of this game, stairs. Stairs, you're going to find lots of stairs through this game. And so I lovingly call them bosses. They're not really bosses, they're just sometimes very, very tricky. Cool, so now we have enough stars to build this bridge. And we're going to be coming up to the end of the first section of this game. One very cool thing to note is, as we finish each section, we'll be returning color back to this world as we go through our journey of grief. But also, you'll see this statue, and this statue will slowly but surely be rebuilt. First color to return to the world, red.
And red represents anger, right?
Yes.
In this one, yeah.
Yeah, angry girl hours.
Angry girls.
So one really strange thing with this, especially with the Switch version of this game, every time you start a new run or new game, the achievements will always appear. Every single time. So it's very useful for, let's say you're doing all achievements as a run. It's really helpful for that, because the achievements pop up as you get them.
Is that only for this game? Like, or is it like a Switch thing now where there's achievements?
It's just, I don't know if it's only a Switch thing, but it happens.
Oh, I meant like for this game.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there other achievements for Switch games, or just this one, you reckon?
I have no idea. Anyway, so there are in No Major Glitches, there are 3 main instances of RNG. You just encountered one of them. So it is hard-coded into the game that the travel time from those stars when you deposit them into the sky is RNG. Absolutely just hard-coded RNG in the game. I don't understand why it's a thing, but it's just there. There's a couple of other moments of just straight hard-coded RNG that just lose you up to a second every time you get bad RNG. And it's really weird, but not really a big deal.
Yeah.
And now we're going down into the second area of the game called of anger. And of course, and now we're coming up to a second boss fight of more stairs. I see you, son. Why are you following me? 1, 2, 3. So Mika, do you remember what the name of the game is? I don't remember. It's like something like
Gris.
Girl?
I don't know.
And like clearly it's girls, right?
Gris, grilled.
Girls, yeah.
Girls.
Girls.
Glass. Gris. Sorry, my bad. Completely forgot.
Yep. So it's very much a staple of indie games like Gris. For it to show you what the name of the game is 10, 15 minutes into the run. Off the tower.
No fall damage in this game?
No fall damage. Perfect. So now we're heading into what is the Sandstorm section of this game. For the longest time, there was absolutely no way to make this any faster, so effectively making it an auto-scroller in some sense. But, so a runner by the name of Skylar found a skip called Sandstorm Skip, which I did a little bit of practice of. Just basically utilizing any of the sandstorm to push us further back. Here it doesn't really do anything, but it will make an appearance later. Benji, if you have any donors, now is a good time.
Yeah, I have $20 from Dylan Rubrics, who has a lovely no comment. But I'm just sitting here watching this game and just floored by the emotions evoked by the imagery and the soundtrack. Like, wow, this is a powerful game. What got you into running?
So, this is actually funny you ask. So, PAX 2018, Devolver Digital had a demo of this game at this very event. I started playing the demo and fell in love with the game and wanted to speedrun it when it came out. And that's how I got into running the game. Cool. So now we're almost up to Sandstorm Skip. Would you like to give a bit of an explanation of it, Miko?
Yeah, sure. So basically how this works is if you just keep holding right into the sandstorm as you jump, but then before you start, you hold left, and then it allows you to jump a maximum of 3 times in the sandstorm, and then you can get like a max distance across to the right, and it allows you to skip pretty much a cycle, right?
Yeah. It won't skip a cycle immediately. There's a rock creature that we're going into, which I call Howl's Moving Castle. The cycle after that we skip. Oh no, I missed it. Oh well.
It's not a big time loss, is it?
15 seconds at most.
Yeah.
Yeah, I jumped too late. Oh well.
It's a bit, yeah. Don't worry, Aggy's flying through this, but when I played through it casually, I got stuck here for like ages because the sandstorm just kept wrecking me.
Yeah, it's a tricky trick. Wow.
But it's like what Benj just said, like the emotions that kind of evokes. It's almost like with your anger, you can just keep slipping back and forth. You know, you're getting better, then all of a sudden something sets you off again, and you fall backwards, and yeah.
So here is Howl's Moving Castle. I have a funny story about the collectible in this particular rock. So during a race of all mementos early on PB pace, completely missed that memento. And because it loses absolutely no time to get it, had no idea I'd missed it right until super later into the run. It's like, and it was my first 140, sub 140 in the category as well.
Yeah, so this game is pretty much really movement based.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. So now we're coming up to our first power up. Once we have 2 stars in each area, we basically unlock the power up or new ability. In this case, we're going to turn into thick Gris.
Oh, that's right.
Thick with 2 C's, or maybe 3. Not sure. Up to you to decide. So, and this cycle always happens. Doesn't matter how far ahead or behind you are, that cycle always happens. Now Gris can let her anger out. And these little bits of area are basically tutorials of how to use the block ability. So every sandstorm in this game is cycle based, except the one before you get heavy and that one. That one is 100% consistent. 1, 2. And now we're having and now time is for Gris to let her anger out. However, there are some unforeseen consequences to this action.
As often is the case when you let your anger out in general, right?
Yeah. And now we're into the second half of anger. Everything here is cycle based. So it's very easy to lose time here. Not very easy to gain any time, purely because everything is in 6-second cycles. Oh. And now we're up to the quote-unquote hardest trick of the run. First cycle windmill. Oh no.
Well, sometimes these troll you pretty hard.
Yeah. So, for the longest time, a lot of new runners find getting that first cycle windmill quite difficult, because movement can be a bit tricky starting out. But it's not that difficult to get right, except if you're like me and not really paying attention.
It happens.
Yeah, cool. So here's another little bit of RNG. This little rock friend, where they are, is entirely RNG, and it loses up to a second, but that's not really too bad.
That was like a pretty good cycle for the little guy.
Yeah, it was coming to the right, which is always good. So best RNG is having that little guy all the way to the right. Out here.
But yeah, if you want to play this game, it's pretty much out on every platform, like PlayStation Network, Steam, Switch, Xbox Live, I imagine.
Yeah, it's on basically every platform. There we go. So that was something called a Coyote Jump. Basically, you can jump off a platform if you walk off one frame on walking off the edge of it. It's very useful, going to be used a lot very going to be used to conserve momentum while going off slides, etc., and stuff like that. And that's
Does this game run at 60 FPS?
yes.
Yep.
It runs on PC. It runs on your monitor's max refresh rate.
Oh, okay.
So that causes lots of janky business to happen.
Right.
So we're now going into. Right now, let's hope George is nice to us. So George is 100% cycle based, so we don't want George all the way to the right, otherwise we won't be able to jump on George's back. Ooh, this is good cycle. But this is going to be good because George can now get a new home.
Is George the name you gave the
Yeah.
Maggie, or okay?
Yeah. So none of these creatures have really official names except for in code. I don't actually remember what the name of this person is. But up next we're going to go to the balloon ride. So with the balloon ride coming up next, it's I'll explain as it comes up. This is good. Cool. So here is the balloon ride. Normally if you're just walking up slopes, or you wouldn't be able to beat this up to the top and would have to heavy it back down. But instead we can just jump through the little gap.
Oh. That's how you do it.
Yep.
Okay. I was wondering how you do it so quick.
Yeah. I'm gonna miss the cycle, I think. So close.
Ooh. There you go.
And now we are at the end, almost at the end of Anger. All we have next is a Ferris wheel. And so, would you like to quickly explain the switch home button shenanigans?
Yeah, so this one. This is actually this is a Switch specific thing, and the reason why Aggie they're running on a Switch is by pushing the home button at certain points, like if you're going through water, so mainly when you go heavy, it induces a bit of intentional lag, and then as a result of that lag, it can allow you to clip through things like going through water that you're not meant to go through yet, or skip specific things like what Aggie's about to do now. So normally, normally there's a much longer way to do this trick, but by using the home screen abuse, Aggie can do it in a much faster way. And it's ironic that's only a Switch specific thing. I mean, PC can do it, but they need like mods and scripts to pull it off. But Switch just has like native, like that.
There we go.
The zoom, yeah.
So normally you would have to go all the way to the top, but now you can just go halfway and not have a massive drop.
I do find it crazy that like now the Switch version is like the most ideal to run.
Yeah, it's nuts. But with any percent no major glitches, PC is still better.
Oh, really?
You can't do the home screen shenanigans.
Yeah.
But now we are coming up to the end of the anger section. And there's even more of this statue being rebuilt. So before there was only one hand, now there's two arms, two complete arms.
So what does blue represent again, Aggie?
So green.
Green, sorry. So I'm not colorblind.
green, blue, all the same thing. Yeah, so green is bargaining. Bargaining with yourself, bargaining with others.
Trying to kind of escape the fact that something's happened.
Yeah.
And I like what this also represents. It's like your bargaining can also be a very slippery slope depending on how far you go, and you can end up in a pretty terrible place with yourself.
But also going back to the hub every single time, it's like just showing that grief is never a linear process. And not really a quote unquote a process at all. It's different for everyone.
Yeah.
So coming up, we're going to meet a very good friend. On best friends. So, one thing that might not be completely obvious is the entire map, the entire world of Gris is one big map. So, right now, we are going over the denial section of the game in order to get to bargaining. So the game disguises a lot of the travel by effectively teleporting you. So when you go through fog or something like that, that's the game teleporting you closer to where you need to be. Very nice insta there. So, would you like to explain insta-heavies?
Insta-heavies.
So basically...
Can't remember how that one works, sorry.
All good. So, basically, insta-heavies are a frame-perfect trick of when you're trying to heavy, but also right on a flat surface at the same time. The game basically goes, I don't like this, and instantly performs the animation.
Wow.
Yeah. And this little bit is teaching you about the tree cycles. So normally you're meant to wait for one of those tree cycles before you can go, but being speedrunners, we are very impatient. And we just want to go fast. And oh my tree friends, Macaroni.
Macaroni's sitting in front of the setup if you want to come say hello.
Macaroni is a very good friend. Yeah, this is a good section if you want to make any announcements or any donations.
Yeah, I'll take a second to remind everyone what we're doing here, because it's important. We may not be able to help people with their emotions, but we can help stop some forms of grief ever occurring, which is what we're here today to do. We're raising money for a great charity, Game on Cancer, which funds early-stage cancer researchers who are working across all fields of cancer research. But we're AusSpeedruns, and you can donate to that fantastic cause at donate.ausspeedruns.com.
And we also have a donation bin at the front too,
Yeah,
I think.
there's also a donation tin at the front somewhere.
So one very interesting thing with those corner trees is the hitbox for the slope appears as soon as the transition into the triangle happens. So if you're fast enough, you can jump onto them as they're transitioning. However, if you're too fast, you just fall straight through. So I've had that happen many times in runs because I was too impatient to wait. But now we have Macaroni following us. And funnily enough, this is another instance of hard-coded RNG. So as soon as Macaroni wants to do anything like pick up an apple and something like that, it can take up to a second for Macaroni to decide to eat the apple. Why? No clue at all. Macaroni's probably just a little picky eater.
Which I find ironic because Macaroni's only eating apples this entire run.
Yep. Well, now we have to wait a little bit. Because if we drop down too early, we'll scare Macaroni off.
Oh.
Yeah. And now Macaroni is our friend. And because Macaroni is our friend, every time we do an action, whether it be jump or heavy, Macaroni will do the exact same thing, but at a delay of about a second. So this is going to be very useful. Because we will need Macaroni to go through a couple of obstacles. And one thing that's really important to mention is you'll notice that there's a lot of reds starting to appear back here. Just because you've experienced the emotion of anger doesn't mean it's gone. It's still there, and it can come back at any moment. It'll be even more evident later on in this section. As teamwork.
Teamwork.
Oop.
Except he looked like he stacked it pretty hard.
Oh yeah, Macaroni will be fine. See? And we're going to say goodbye to Macaroni for now. Oh, we're going to collect the 2 stars of this area. This little cave section is quite fun. I find lots of really quite tight jumps. So these little rock creatures in game files are named Kadama. If anyone's seen like Spirited Away and other Ghibli movies, you might be able to see the inspiration. And now we have to say goodbye to Macaroni for the rest of the run. Except we don't have to.
Yeah, Macaroni will always be at the front, so they're with us for the rest of the run, no matter how we see it.
So now we're coming up to arguably my favorite puzzle. This puzzle might even seem counterintuitive for a speedrunner, but every single time you jump, these red blocks will transition. As you can see in a couple of seconds. So it forces runners to be a bit more mindful of how they jump how to optimize them. It's really good. It's really easy to mess up as well. Just going by muscle memory and just jumping all the time. So you can.
Oh.
And that can happen sometimes. See if we can get it.
Nice.
Awesome. Oh no.
Ooh.
Oh well,
Unlucky.
not too bad. Because it ended up getting back to the same place anyway. So now we're going to get our double jump or glide. Up until this point, we've been able to buffer our single jumps, but because we have this ability, we can't really buffer them anymore. And so, while single jumps are still the fastest way to do things, they're significantly harder on slopes. And so when we're gliding, it's the exact same speed as if we're walking. So either way, it's still faster than just walking up slopes. Can you tell me what? No, I don't know yet. Because we have our double jump now, our movement opens up a little bit more. But coming up, we have double fast trees hopefully, and if ooh, this is good RNG.
What? Nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise, if Aggy missed that, they'd have to wait for like another cycle of those butterfly thingies to come around. Is that also hard-coded RNG?
The birds?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. All I know is the good RNG doesn't happen very often. Like 9 times out of 10, you will get the bad RNG. Oh, the burbs. That's a big one.
Do the developers know that people speedrun the game?
Yeah, they do. They do know.
Sweet.
And then they don't really interact with the speedrunning communities very much.
Right.
But yeah, they know it exists, which is good. Cool. Now we're going to come up to Big Bird. Very scary Big Bird. And come on, do this. Where the actions of our not so distant past come back. Very, very scary Big Bird. So what's happened? So this bird will scream at us we don't, and we have to heavy to prevent ourselves being blown back by what is effectively a wind effect or a sandstorm effect. A very minor thing, but you can get the bird to blow early because it's meant to stream at you when you're in the middle, right in the center. As you can, as it should be more evident, the red from anger is a lot more prominent right now than it was previously. It's kind of like you're fighting with yourself. Internal struggles of fighting. And coming up, we have bird blow. Would you mind explaining that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So how this one works is, what Aggy's going to do is, instead of purposely trying to avoid the big bird blow, they're going to blow right into it and then use that to push across the platform. And that saves Aggy time from having to wait on the center platform to then have the bird blow again to then go on the further side.
Yeah.
So this one's intentionally going into it.
Yeah, saves about 3 seconds. That particular setup was found by a blindfolded runner by the name of Saber. Previously, the setup we had was much more finicky and had a much higher failure chance. Yeah, so once that particular setup was found, really easy to get right. Oh no. So I don't think that bird likes bells very much.
Nah, doesn't look like it.
Cool. Now we're coming up to the final fight with the bird. Would you mind doing a little bit of explanation about that?
The final fight with the bird.
Yeah.
It was to do with this. I can't remember this one actually. I'm trying to think. What was it?
Right. Basically what we're going to do is break those pots in such a way that we don't get blown back into the center. And hopefully you can get this one. Perfect.
It was a good fight.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, that bird really doesn't like bells.
Basically Venom.
And now we are right at the end of bargaining. As we fight on another boss fight of stairs. These bloody stairs, merciless.
Pretty much. And the statue's been more rebuilt.
Yes. Nearly there.
And blues for depression, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
As the rains start falling. Rains start falling, but we're not in Africa.
And from memory, Aggy, this is probably one of the longest sections, right?
Yeah, so the last 2 sections are the longest. So let's see if we can get this jump out of the building. Hey, very nice.
Nice. That was just you waiting to jump at the last moment to float over, right?
Yeah, so that jump is completely blind because you can't particularly tell. You have no visual cue for that.
Yeah.
But that saves about 2-3 seconds overall, because otherwise you just fall flat into the water. And at this point in time, swimming is very, very slow, because Gris only knows how to do the doggy paddle.
Right, that's right, yeah.
Okay. Cool. So if you make that cycle there, you can save about 2-3 seconds, about a second. Basically, you don't have to jump it over that little hump there.
And I think what's really, I guess, nice imagery is with depression being one of the longest sections of the game. I think that's really symbolic about how long it can just be drawn out in the process.
Yeah.
Like, you can have short bouts of anger and short bouts of bargaining, but when someone's in a really depressive state, it can really just drag out for months, years, maybe even a lot of their lifetime.
And a lot of times people are just, it can be depressed and not really be evident.
That too, yeah.
So because swimming right now is the slowest form of movement, we want to be in the water the least amount of time as we can. So we're going to use these verbs and just fly across the water. Now we're back to the hub again. We're going to work our way down to ice caverns. So these caverns work on a global 8-second cycle. So for the next 4 minutes, in order to get the fastest cycle possible, basically have to play absolutely perfectly. So that's not going to happen.
Oh, you never know.
But yeah, fastest cycle, only one runner has ever got, two runners have ever gotten it in a run. And both of those are the current world record holder of the category and second place. So the cycle starts basically right here. As we delve into the depths. Coming up soon is another use of home screen views. Not here though. So this next trick is called a heavy dive skip, assuming I get it. Here we go. So you can heavy on breakable floors just so that you don't go through with them. In this case, it saves about 5 seconds overall, because you just don't sink so far into the water.
And that's the home screen of use again. The induced lag just makes it such that Aggy can clip through that. Otherwise, you have to go all the way around, right?
Yeah, all the way around. That's also one section. If you heavy off the edge too late, you don't go through.
Oh.
So, but normally in a casual playthrough, you jump then heavy, so it doesn't really. So for most people, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay. Take note of this room, because we're going to come back here later. Not sure how they managed to get such big mushrooms down here. So now we're almost at the ice caverns.
Almost.
Yeah. Right. Normally you're meant to heavy this and go around.
Yeah. Now, was home screen abuse found completely by accident, or was it something that they've had a theory on?
No, it was found by a glitch hunter outside of the community.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because we had no idea it was a thing until Riley came along.
Oh, yeah, this bit.
So, with these ice blocks, you can jump out of them just before, like moments before the freeze happens, which will help with this side. So, so this is basically a counterweight kind of thing. You need to get both of the sides level in order to open up the thing to the... Oh no, I missed it. Yeah. Open up effectively gate. However, there is another strat that you can do where you heavy in a very specific spot. So when you get frozen by the ice, you can clip straight through. It's basically what happens there is Gris's head gets stuck.
Oh.
And so the game just lets you through. So you know how I said that swim is the slowest form of movement? Well, that's now no longer the case. Swim is now by far the fastest form of movement in the game. Gris is now, transformed into Mega Gris.
Mega Gris, yeah, pretty much.
And now because we have swim, we have even more movement options available to us. So you can just tap back in the opposite direction you're moving to effectively refresh your swim. However, it's not faster to do it generally, but it's just faster to do it whenever you're changing direction. So like here, or exiting water. And so for the longest time, I had no idea about how this puzzle works. So this puzzle is a direct inverse of the structure above water.
I remember you watching me play, and I got stuck there for like solid 15 minutes. Yep. And Aggy's like, here's a hint, like, think reflection. I was like, oh. Then it's this like galaxy brain moment. There's those shades of anger again.
Yep. They're always there. Yeah, I think this section is my favorite part of the game. Well, one of them anyway. I like it.
The game's just good in general.
Yeah. So now we are heading up to Water Tower. And Water Tower is by far the hardest part of this section. 'Cause sometimes it's so well, let's go.
Oh. Oh, almost.
Yeah. So if you exit the water at the right angle, you can basically traverse that water tower very easily and not have to worry about anything. So, a total skip.
Nice.
So, dashing out of the cutscene trigger just at the right time and saves a couple of seconds so Turtle doesn't have to wait for us.
And I think anyone who's not too familiar with speedrunning, it's like, it may not seem like much when we say a couple of seconds or a second, but if the run's like over an hour long, like Aggy's run is, like those few seconds can really add up. Sometimes we're even saving frames.
Yep. All the time adds up.
Every time adds up, yeah.
And now we're in for a very special moment as we're going to go in through the butt.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, right in through the butt. Into an almost complete statue.
And I like that the statue is like forming again, but not completely healed.
Yep.
So in a way, it just goes through your grieving process that you may quote unquote learn to live with it, but you're never quite the same person as you once were.
And you've never truly recovered what you've lost. Even though things may appear whole again.
Yeah, please play this game, guys and girls. It's it's so beautiful. Like, and it's cheap. It's really cheap too these days. Like $10. Like, yeah.
A lot of confidence that
the
I'm going to
boat.
go home and buy it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do it.
Yep, do it.
100%.
Benj, you'll like it, trust me.
I'm sitting here trying not to cry. Like it's like what? Like
Yeah.
the sound design, the color design. Like I was not expecting this.
Now you have to play it.
I have to now.
Oh no, bird's here again. Ew.
But the past always catches up, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Ooh. But eel's trying to eat us. How dare? We're not a snack.
Oh,
Uh,
just when you thought.
oh, it's like Pax. Come on.
Yeah, it's like
How's
when,
it cheating.
yeah.
Come on, can we get away? We've got this.
Yeah, we almost there.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Did it. Okay. So, in actuality, that fight is effectively an auto-scroller. There's nothing you can really do to speed it up. But now, we're in effectively the complete darkness. Trying to find our way through our own thoughts, our own feelings.
Yeah, that's why depression is one of the longest sections of this game.
So, technically speaking, as we've returned the yellow to the world, it's technically the acceptance section, but this is definitely the longest run back to the hub in the game. I would class this as part of the depression section. Okay, cool. We've escaped the hill. Thank Christ. We've done it.
Done it. Never mind.
Far out. Eel has our number. Eel wants our location.
It wants everything.
Are we going to be able to escape?
And this is also pretty symbolic as well. It's just like, just keep going. Like, don't give up. You might feel like something's going to catch up to you again, but just keep going. You just got to keep going. Otherwise, you'll get eaten alive. Is Gris going to get eaten alive, though, is the question.
Yeah, I like the sort of symbology of
Turtle.
being swallowed
Our
by
turtle
the
saved
depression,
us.
you know? And getting lost in the despair with all the darkness, like it's good.
The most metal turtle to ever exist.
He's our friend.
Our friend.
Have they named him?
No, just turtle.
Just Turtle.
So, another runner of the game, Tasselfoot, in these sections, after the turtle is a bro, has a turtle song.
That's an achievement, by the way, avoiding the eel bites. I actually didn't get that. I managed to get nicked, but Aggy, being a pro speedrunner of the game, managed to avoid it.
So one really interesting thing to note is the main reason why the main out of bounds trick works is you get all the stars back after the eels fight. Otherwise, you'd end up soft blocking the game because you wouldn't have the stars to deposit. But since we're doing no major glitches. Almost,
yeah.
And we didn't do the out of bounds one in the ice cavern section.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So the out of bounds used in no restrictions is only in 1.0. So when the game released, clipping out of bounds was so easy that you just basically jump into a wall enough, or jump into a corner of a wall enough, and you'd get out of bounds. That's how easy it was. But thankfully that was quickly patched out. So I'm told apparently there's like a light puzzle here or something. I don't see a light puzzle.
I don't. Wait. Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yep. So what just happened there is there's meant to be a puzzle where you heavy and lights go up into the ceiling where you reveal the cracked floor in the ground. That cracked floor in the ground just happens to be right underneath where you right off the edge. So you just hold heavy the entire way down.
And now we've in a way, climbed out of the depression phase. You're just like, all right, you know what? We're going to keep going.
You got to keep going. No matter what.
No matter what, you got to keep going.
And now we're into the very last section of the game.
And see the shades of red coming back. It's like it never really leaves you. Your feelings of anger and
all the emotions are always there. It's just that some are more prevalent than others. And it's never really a choice what emotions show. So these little things are called Fireflies. These things provide light, but whenever you're heavy, they disappear.
And do you need the Firefly to make the stair reveal and to walk on it, or can you walk on? Okay.
You need it, otherwise it just isn't there.
Yeah.
So another reason why swimming is very fast is you conserve momentum as soon as you leave the water.
Another home screen abuse?
Yep.
That was massive.
That's the first time I've got it.
Really?
Yep.
Nice.
So that particular home screen abuse saves about 5-10 seconds.
Wow.
Because it saves you going all the way around.
Nice. In the marathon too.
Coming up is a very satisfying bit of movement for me. These water squares. Just using the momentum that you can maintain from swimming. And we're almost up to what will be the hub section for this area.
I like these Fireflies. It's like symbolic to say you may not see the way, but if you find something, it's just a little bit of light, whether it's inside or outside, it can show that, hey, there is hope, there is something to cling on to and keep going.
This hub section is quite unique in that we're going to be here for the rest of the section. So every other area, like where you get a new ability, you move on somewhere else. However, once we get the ability of what's here, we're going to continue being in this exact same area. But it'll just unlock new unlock new areas here for us. And with acceptance being the last area of the game, it's also the most complex for movement, with a lot of tiny micro optimizations that save fractions of a second here and there, but would definitely add up. This is one of them. Okay. So that line, you flip, but you jump in such a way that you don't have to do the flip whatsoever.
This section took me ages.
So, and that one, you just get out of the water just enough that you can activate the light without flipping to the other side. And that's the first half done.
I remember this section taking me ages, just getting stuck, flipping.
Yeah. I got stuck there too on my first playthrough.
Oh. I like the usage of the swim.
Yeah. So what we're going to do here is a little bit of dolphining. Every time you re-enter the water, you regain the use of your swim. So you can just continue doing that for speed.
It's instant resets, right?
Yep.
Another home screen abuse.
That one didn't work.
You would have propelled all to the top, right?
Yeah, propelled all the way up here. Cool. And so what happened there is when Gris bonks ahead, she goes to the ground faster.
Oh.
Yep. I really love this movement section because it's just super satisfying. And now,
It's clean.
now we have enough stars to get our very last power up. And it is our ability to sing again. So now we have the ability to sing. We have the ability to change the world around us once more.
It's like finding your own inner voice again, saying,
Exactly.
you know what? I'm going to change it because I want to. I'm not going to let it change me.
So this particular Insta Heavy here is almost free. You can set it up in such a way that you sing into the cutscene so you're standing right on the edge. Insta.
Another one.
Yep.
Nice.
Cool. So coming up, we're doing a thing. We're going to do flower skip. It's not too difficult. Basically, what we're going to do is once we jump into use a verb, we're going to mash jump, just so we don't flip over to the other side. Because normally what would happen is you'd fly up and have to sing to those chill type things.
Ah.
It's not a very difficult trick. The most difficult trick in the run, however, is coming up very soon.
Oh, here we go.
I really like these little lights.
Yeah. I like how it's a mixture of all colors here as well.
Yeah.
You've got your reds, your greens, your blues. It's like you said, you don't really have a say in what emotions you feel.
Yeah.
You just kind of accept it.
It's a conglomeration of everything you've experienced up
Yeah.
until this point. But everything you and all of those experiences make you who you are. But now we have right side left. So we're going to sing to these particular flowers now, not because once we come back, it's about half a second faster overall. So here is Spider. Spider is a good friend. However, I'm going to attempt what is, in my opinion, the hardest trick in the run once. Nope. So the height of that is particularly high, and it makes it particularly difficult to gain enough height
Ooh, okay.
from the Switch home screen abuse. Ideally, if you get it first try, you can save upwards of 30-35 seconds.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Have you ever pulled it off in a run?
In a run? No.
One day.
It's very... Right, coming up we have a trick called No Cycle, if you'd like to quickly explain that a little bit.
Was it no cycle?
No Cycle.
Oh, it's to skip the cycle of the
Yeah,
Is it singing the flowers?
of the bug.
Oh, that's right. Can't remember. Yeah, it's,
This one.
you sing to this one,
Yeah.
and then you sing to the other one, and then I remember the cycles, like they keep going up and down, right?
Yep. Almost.
Almost that one.
So unfortunately, I didn't quite get it. So No Cycle is ideally you Coyote Jump off the edge of this platform, which and the first jump was slightly too early. So 2 frame perfect jumps in order to make the distance. I will try one more time.
Alright, let's go.
Oh no. Yeah, it's by far the hardest trick. It's definitely the hardest trick and no major glitches. All good. Let's move on.
All good.
Yeah, that trick might not look No Cycle might not look like much, but it saves about 30 seconds overall.
Ooh. That's a lot of time.
Because each of the cycles of the bug going up and down, 10 seconds.
That makes sense, yeah.
And now we have all the stars, and we're going to return them back into the sky.
And when's time for the run?
Not for a bit.
Oh, okay.
That was not the heavy dive skip.
I was gonna say, wait, not that one.
That was entirely accidental. So, and this is why we sung to these flowers earlier. last home screen abuse. And now we're going to perform the best. We're going to perform really strong magic and flip the world. As we return back to the hub world. If you've got time for some donations, now's a good time.
Yeah, I've not got any donations at the moment, but I will talk about upcoming incentives. So coming up later in the day, we have a Spyro 2 run, and we get to choose what colour Spyro is. And considering the importance of colours in this game, you might want to pick your favourite impactful colour, cough, green, cough, for the upcoming Spyro incentive.
Look, everyone knows there's only one Spyro colour, and that's green.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
Anyone else who thinks there's other Spyro colours is wrong.
I mean, there's yellow here, but who would pick yellow?
Yellow? That yellow doesn't sound like a Spyro colour to me.
No.
Just a word of warning, PAX Enforcer shirts are yellow.
Yeah, and I heard somebody talking about this purple. No, I don't know about that.
Nah.
Nah. What? Purple dragons? Like what?
Nah.
Since when?
Yeah, now. And now, that's the bird, the eel. It's all really you.
Yeah.
Right now we can't really do much besides slowly swim. So we don't really have any of our abilities anymore right now as we swim through the inky blackness. The darkness is just before dawn. But since we're here, might as well say goodbye.
Oh, is that what you meant to do for acceptance?
Yeah.
Oh.
The best way to say goodbye is to sing. And the last major platforming section in the game, as we come up to what is my favorite cutscene in this entire game. And so once we get to the cutscene, I'm just gonna let it play out, because everyone deserves to see it.
This scene always gives me goosebumps.
Finally able to move through. Always remembering
Yeah.
everything, all the past traumas, but able to use them
To
go-
keep going,
Yep.
yeah, to move on. Just do your best.
well, time's coming up very soon. Time will be when the screen turns black.
Turns black up.
Yep. Time.
Well done, Eggs. 127.40.
Yeah, 127.40. Wow. Thank you, Aggs, for sharing such
No
a
worries.
powerful game with us today.
Um,
Shout outs, where can people find the speed run? Where can they find you?
Yeah, so shout outs to the entire Gris speedrun community, in particular Tasselfoot, Skylar, Natalia, Gris, all amazing people. So you can find, if you want to learn the speedrun, you can find the Discord on the speedrun.com page. Always happy to help people learn. It's a very chill game and a very good speedrun, especially if you're starting out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.